Welcome to the channel and welcome to another 40k Faceoff. In this Faceoff we see 3 Skorpech Destoryers of the Necron faction against a handful of Primaris Space Marines. It had been suggested that I do some of these with units from the Indomitus box. Now I don't have Indomitus, but I do have the Command Edition. That means I have a lot of good Necrons and a lot of good Primaris Space Marines. Just to keep things kind of vanilla in this first one, we're going to have the Destroyers facing against just normal Primaris Marines, just to see how it goes. These guys are 40 points each, these guys are 20 points each, and in terms of points, this is a perfectly balanced 40k face-off actually. So just to give you an idea of who's facing off here, let's go through these guys. So there are 6 Primaris Intercessors here. They each get 2 attacks. They have 2 wounds, strength 4, toughness 4, normal 3-up save like power armor, and hitting things on 3s. The Sergeant, so we'll call this guy the Sergeant, has a bolt pistol as well as his bolt rifle. Bolt rifle is rapid fire 1, 30-inch range. Strength 4, -1 AP. They have frag and crack grenades, and just to keep things simple, don't have a chapter. And these guys don't have a dynasty assigned to them. So that's those guys. Let's move on to see what these guys have. So these guys are melee only basically. They have an 8-inch move. They get 3 base attacks. The guys with these weapons, which are hyperphase threshers, get an additional attack in close combat. They move 8 inches, strength 5, toughness 5. They have 3 wounds each and 3 attacks each on a base. 3-up saves, so same as the Space Marines. And the guy in the middle has a hyperphase reef blade. That beast gives him +2 strength, it gives him -4 AP, and does 3 damage with everyone that gets through. In terms of game plans, the Space Marines are basically going to have to try and shoot up the Necrons, I think, and the Necrons are basically just going to try and get up in their grills. This is the first time that I'm actually using Necrons since like the 1990s, I think. I didn't really like them in the 90s, but I kind of like them now actually. I'm painting them up in a kind of gold and blue Tutankhamun style sort of paint job as well. Yeah, I think let's go set things up and see what happens in this Indomitus themed 40k face-off. A Primaris unit on routine patrol heard a crashing from some undergrowth. As the crashing grew louder, it became apparent they were not alone, and this was not a routine patrol. So we'll have a roll-off to see who goes first. I imagine the Space Marines want to go first in order to get some shooting off if they're in range. And yeah, basically everybody wants to go first, I think. So let's see who goes first in this 40k face-off. Gonna use black for the Space Marines, grey for the Necrons. I don't have any gold dice, unfortunately. That's not a terrible idea, though. Here we go. Who's going first? And it's the Space Marines. So checking range here, and in actual fact, 30-inch range, none of them are in range. So we're going to move straight away on to turn 1 for the Necrons. These guys have a base move of 8 inches, which is pretty good, and they're going to opt to advance. So plus 1d6. So 9 inches, not massive, but you know, also not the end of the world. Let's see where 9 inches gets them. Cool, so we've moved up, and they're going to be within range, I think, of the Primaris next turn. So they can't shoot anything, and they're not psychers. So let's move on to turn 2 for the Space Marines. So they're not within half range, so they don't get 2 shots with those rifles. So just going to be 6 shots now. These are going to be hitting on 3s, and then wounding on 5s. So first off, hitting on 3s. How we're doing? So all but 2. That's pretty good. So they've hit, and now they need to wound on 5s. Okay, 2 get through. Those bolt rifles have a -1 AP, so now we need 4-ups to save. 1 gets through, 1 is saved, and so one of these loses a wound. They each have 3 wounds, and so we have 1 left on 2 wounds. And that is the shooting done in turn 2 for the Space Marines. So now we're going to move on to turn 2 for the Necrons. They're going to advance again, and let's see how far they advance. So they've got an 8-inch move plus 5. That's pretty huge. Or that's 13 inches. So that's more than one of these. It's going to be an extra inch on top of that. So there they are. They're pretty close up now, but the Space Marines are still going to want to shoot. And to be honest, they're probably going to be within double tap range right now. So let's check. Yeah, they're going to be in their turn able to shoot twice. So let's move on to turn 3 for the Space Marines and see what they're going to do. So unsurprisingly, they are basically going to hold position and shoot off double shots at these Necrons. So now we're going to have 12 shots going in, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s. So here's our 12 dice. Once again, these guys shooting rapid fire into the Necrons, hitting on 3s. Wow, absolutely all of them. That's fantastic, to be honest. All of these are going to be wounding on 5s. Only one of them. Wow, it goes both ways, doesn't it? So yeah, now the Necrons need to do a 4-up save in order to not lose a wound. And that's failed, so this guy here is down to 1 wound. And with that, that was Space Marines turn 3. Let's move on to Necrons turn 3. And to be honest, I don't think it's looking good for the Space Marines. But you know, combat could go either way. With the movement phase for the Necrons, I think they're basically just going to move up their 8 inches. That's going to give them within charging distance pretty comfortably with the Space Marines. What's a bit of a shame is it's such a confined place here that I can't really film it very well. But I'm sure I'll work something out. So anyway, yeah, no shooting. Let's see if they get to charge successfully. Well, I think we probably need anything but 2 1s. Oh, wow, it's only 3, but that's probably going to get them in anyway. So let's get them in there. 1, 2, oh, he's going up the hill, and 3. I don't think there's any penalties for hitting uphill. I think in the old Warhammer Fantasy days, that was a thing, but not anymore in 9th edition. So I think we'll start off with the guys here, with the Threshers. They get an additional attack. Also, the Skorpech Destoryers have a special rule called Hardwired for Destruction. Basically, they can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by models in this unit. So they're going to be rerolling 1s. And the 2 guys on the ends, one of whom has 1 wound, they're going to be getting 4 attacks each. They're going to be hitting on 3s with these weapons, which do 2 damage each. So basically, each one of these could be a dead Primaris. This could be over very quickly. So looking at hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, of which there are 3. So that's a good rule for them, isn't it? Hardwired for re-rolls. Cool, so what's that? Only 1 of them missed in the end. These Destroyers, strength 5 against toughness 4. Wounding on 3s now. And a few misses there, and a few good hits. These all have -3 APs, these Hyperphase Thresher Blades. Just absolute units for getting through this armor. And so these Space Marines need to make 6s now. Each one that fails is a dead Primaris. 1, 2, 3, 4 dead Primaris Marines in this round of combat. And the guy in the middle hasn't even fought yet. Now we have the Destroyer in the middle, and basically he's going to go ahead and hit. He gets 3 attacks, is that right? Yeah, 3 attacks. He doesn't get an extra one with the 2-hander. Hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. All hit. He gets +2 strength, so his strength is now 7 against toughness 4. It's still looking for 3s, and they all get through. The 2-hander basically has a -4 AP, meaning that these guys don't get a save for these 3. And so with that, the Primaris are out of there. So that was a rather short but eventful 40k Faceoff, I think. It was over in turn 3 for the Necrons, so, you know, it didn't happen straight away. They had to get there. Yeah. The Reap Blades and things just are like absolute hot knives through butter with the Space Marine armor. Each one that got through is doing 2 to 4 damage. Is that right? No, 2 to 3 damage. So yeah, these guys are just absolute beasts if they get up close. The Primaris are, you know, they're Space Marines. They're pretty standard line infantry. But, you know, 2 wounds and things like that. They're slightly longer range. And they kind of look cooler as well than the old ones. Yeah. I just wanted to do that sort of first introductory one with some units from Indomitus against some fairly vanilla, well-known, units. I love these guys, actually. It was a lot of fun to play with these. I can totally see how they would be really good in a battle, just charging up and slicing up whoever they get to. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Cool. Right then, that's been another 40k Face-Off. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have done, do all the normal shenanigans that people ask you to do on YouTube. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Peacetime Painting, out.